preface, you will be recorded. So pretty simple to move forward, but we're good to go. So welcome everybody. I'm Zachariah Holland, the chair of ACM San Antonio, or the Association for Computer and Machinery. I don't like to acronymize it too much, but it is a long name. So ACM it is. We are here to present the Halloween Dev Challenge. Kind of at the beginning of the month, or well, more at the end of September, we were talking like what should it be our next general meeting, or what should come up and help out the community, or like encourage things to be created or be a part of it, right? Like, and with hackathons coming up pretty popular in the fall season during my college years, the hackathon idea kind of came up. So for those that submit on DevPost, I've used DevPost probably a dozen times now. So hopefully you'll get to use them more in the future, but essentially it's just a place to submit hackathon projects. You can, even in your professional career, participate in several of them. You don't have to be just a college student or a high school student, but that's kind of where it struck. I was like, we should do something for Halloween. And thankfully our bi-monthly meetings, our Wednesdays landed on the 30th and not the 31st, because if it was the 31st, we wouldn't be having meetings. But thankfully it landed on today, so we got to do this. So I'm really thankful for everyone that submitted a project, took some time out of their own personal time to create something. So this is kind of what it is. And like, if we kind of go forward from here and like more people find out that, hey, there's some cool prizes that the org got for y'all and for the winners, maybe it'll be bigger next year. So excited for this to be the first one, excited for this to be a ground start to it, and excited for y'all to be here. But with that being said, just kind of hopping into it. If you don't already follow us on our social medias, we are ACM San Antonio. We have a website built up by our co-chair Gene at acmsa.org, and we can also find us on all of our events on either Meetup, Luma, or where we all conversate on the DevSA Discord. There's a space in there, and I apologize, I don't know why there's a space, but these are QR links. If you're looking forward to these will be available at the end of the meeting too, or we're also recording this, so feel free to scroll back if you need it again. So today's challenge, really super open-ended, and really the only requirement in the end of it was just build a project that is Halloween. When I say open-ended, you could build whatever, hardware, like software. It really could have been anything that you could have built with tech. And so I'm glad to see some AI stuff in here, which was a call out. So I was chatting with Dr. Rob back there, and we were like, what should be the parameters? And he came up with their initial ones, and he was like, let's not make it AI just focus completely. So we put the parameters of, AI assisted is acceptable, but AI built and completed, gray area. So fun to see some AI projects out here. I think that's really like the big popular thing right now. And so excited to see the projects that get submitted. We did have some prizes for y'all, and when I say did, we do. Talk building on it. And so if you're not already a part of the community, and you get first or second place, you do get a Tech Block community membership for the next year. We'll communicate that after the event and the winners have been announced. First place gets a mechanical keyboard, wrist slider, new pretty big dust mat for your desktop. And then it says compressed air duster. I promise it's not just a can. It is an electric thing that you can keep using with like some different nozzles and stuff. So you can feel free to check it out over there. But promise it's not just a can of air duster. Second place, pretty much everything except for the mechanical keyboard. So wanted to leave it pretty balanced this year. You can see a little light on my wallet. So glad y'all got to check out the prizes and see who wins. Your judges today, given that Jesse's still on board, I am one of them. Dean's our second judge, Dr. Rob's our third, and Jesse's our fourth. So when you're presenting, look all over the room. We won't just be sitting in the panel, but those are your judges for today, for the three of y'all. And then, yeah. Judging criteria, if you haven't checked it out. So when I talked about DevPost, I tried to communicate that as much as I could. DevPost is kind of like your one-stop shop to like check out like everything that is happening for this event. As far as our judging criteria, theme is what I mentioned in the beginning. That's the challenge, right? Make it Halloween themed, create something based around that. That is, it could be whatever you wanted to do. It could be a room reservation system, and it just had to, whether or not you presented in a Halloween theme or it was a Halloween themed room reservation, it doesn't matter. It just had to be themed Halloween. Technicality, the big thing here is like I'm not going to catch you on a technicality, but it's just like how much tech you did use and the way you used it and the way you built things. Probably most of this, like I said, is at the judge's discretion. So, technicality is just what you presented today. And leading into that presentation. The fun part about hackathons or month-long events or events like where you create a project or something like that is the presentation. It's about not only just selling what you built, or it's also about having a little bit of fun. So a lot of showmanship and stage work goes a long way. So if this is your first time presenting, excited for you. Judgment-free zone, except people that might text each other, but excited to see what y'all present. Rules for presenting, just to rebase on that, I believe I messaged 3 of y'all what the kind of basic rules were. But since we just have 3 submitters, you do have a little bit more time. You have like 5 to 10 minutes to present. I'll be really lax on it, so don't like pressure yourself if you go over or go under. It doesn't show anything extra or more. But do make sure you leave some time for Q&A if the judges have any question about your project. And then to those that might show up now or are here already, submitted presenters have priority. So there you all receive an email for the order that you'll present, and I'll show it in a minute. And then just to reiterate, late submissions and walk-ins are welcome to those that maybe might show up, or Asha might have built something. I'm going to call her out.
Yeah,
she's not interested. But those are also welcome, and I think that'll be like a rule I'm rocking forward in case in my ask. Current list, we have Luis, Eddie, and Alfredo in that specific order. And then, like I said, late in the walk-in submissions if that's applicable. Outside of that, I'll leave it for questions before we jump into it. Does anybody have any questions? Pretty straightforward. Felt like I got over everything. Cool. All right.
Somebody up,
I keep going. Batman's checking for us.
Yeah, I can check every now and then. Sarah's at the door right now.
Oh,
Sarah went to the door. Yeah, we have a minor.
We have someone watch for it. So in case anybody shows up, it's definitely checking. I do, at least on my personal device, I check back and forth on the Discord. I think normally leading up to the hour before, I like leave a message in there so that people know how opinions do. They can always message me. But yeah, any other questions? No? Ready to kick it off? All right, Luis. Ready to go? Yeah, you're good.
Now that I have more time, I'm just...
Yeah, for sure. And for those coming up to present, pretty straightforward. All you got to do is come up here, there's a little dongle thing, so you just connect them, and then you're good to go.
I see on my very neat desktop.
You're not the most chaotic desktop, so no worries.
I want a desktop that's big. I had that hidden a second ago. Okay, let's start here. Okay, so my project, I named it Nightmare Narrative AI. I was going to go with Nightmare AI, but that was already taken. But anyway, the idea was to create a story and to create it based on searching the web. So a few years ago, I hosted a meetup, a review meetup, and we had like a Halloween theme as well. And we had people talk about their most catastrophic things at work, like their war stories and things like that. And one guy was actually pretty good. He took down like the stock market in New York for a few minutes, and it was on the news. Like, so that was pretty impressive. But for the most part, nobody had really good stories. So I thought I could do better. Search the web for things that actually happened throughout history that were super horrible, and then get AI to combine those together and create a narrative around it, create a good story around it. So let's go ahead and run it. And this is going to be like a wall of text, so don't worry, I'll explain it. But I'm just running the main part. Of course, you gotta have some cool classes art.
Yeah.
Okay. So what it's doing is it's searching for it's searching this term, worst disasters. Yeah, it's called the start spelling. Worst disasters caused by software bugs. So it's going to 3 websites based on that and DuckDuckGo, and then it's kind of doing a little bit of cleanup, so it's not returning the JavaScript or the style tags, and then it takes that, it creates a prompt based on that content on those websites, and then it does a little summary, so we can kind of see like what the story is based on. Okay, now I can scroll. So let's look at the summaries, and then let's start at the top. So it found in DuckDuckGo based on the search query, just to show you kind of where it's gathering things from. Let's just, I don't know, take this one, but it's about my other keyboard. And I'll try that with you. Yeah, so I think this one has a paywall now. Yeah, so that's not a great example. But let's go back. What is this one? This is this other monitor. Okay, let's take a different one. Let's try this one. Let's see this. I use this word browser called Dude Browser, so it allows for using the keyboard. So that's kind of a side tangent. Yeah, so this one has, oh my gosh, not very good stuff.
I think you got redirected. Maybe.
Production first. Okay, let's try this. Well, if it comes up with stuff, it's not going to paste on the results. You can check with okay, this one's good. So you can see like Mariner 1, Space Path, and more story. There's these different stories. It likes to pick up on, I don't know if it's in here, but it's one called Therac.
Oh yeah, Therac bug.
Yeah.
What is Therac?
It was a healthcare machine.
Therac 25.
And there was a bug in it that it ended up like dosing people fatally with radiation.
Oh wow.
Exactly. That's funny.
The classic.
It's terrible. Software bug causes lethal radiation. Yeah, at least 6 resulted in death. So yeah, some software bugs do work. Hopefully we don't work in radiation.
It took 3 years to resolve the incident. That's insane. Mars Climb Water. That's a
Yeah,
classic
so this
case
is kind of
integration.
it's a pretty nice summary. Yeah, so this rocket exploded 37 seconds after launch. They lost 500 million. Yeah, there's several like space related ones. Night Capital lost 440 million. I want to say that company like went out of business after that. I think I saw that somewhere. Why did they buy that? Yeah, so it kind of this summary gives a few more things to listen to. I try not to limit the length on that one, so it's kind of long. But I was playing around with comparing Claude or Anthropic with OpenAI's models to see if there was any difference. And at first I thought there was, but it was because I wasn't using the latest models. And then when I started using the latest models, it seems pretty close. Like I don't think there's a huge difference. The formatting is a little different, but part of the content is pretty good. So anyway, like this, you can see like what it's using. But then let's go ahead and go to the next section, which is this prompt. Please create a Halloween story based on Halloween content, and then I gave all that content, which I'm thinking I just keep on thinking, but at least that's enough. We can also try like different search words.
Okay,
which
so
might be fun. and
is
go.
that one of the stories that created the Ghost in the Machine?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah,
these
that's
are the two. If I have time, I'll go ahead and read them. I tried to make it shorter because they were like pretty long. Here's this gallery clip. That's just things. So the Ghost in the Machine. Late one Halloween night, a programmer named Sarah was debugging ancient code from the 1980s when her screen flickered nearly. Numbers started multiplying uncontrollably, just like the infamous night calculator disaster. The ghost of a long dead programmer appeared, warning him that his fatal software error from an old medical device trapped his soul in the system. Only by fixing the deadly bug could Sarah free his spirit before the midnight struck and the error spread across the hospital's network. I don't know. That doesn't seem
That one's
like
funny for sure.
That smells like AI generated.
maybe. I don't think it seems too plausible, but I guess yeah, they're not interesting.
So the idea here is that this thing would generate like spooky stories you could share with people over a campfire or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then OpenAI's story in the dim glow brings man, he can stumble upon a computer buried in his attic. Dusting it off, found a folder ominously named
Where?
curiously led into dark light. Instantly, the room chilled. The screen displayed chilling scenes from software disasters. Rockets exploding, systems running haywire, and digital chaos moving to reality. Suddenly, Nathan faced spectral figures, ghostly echoes of the past paradigm, haunting his home. Desperate, he hit undo commands, but each keystroke summoned another apparition. With dawn, Nathan was found shivering, whispering with cursed code and spectral bugs that lurked beyond the circuits, forever bound by the memory.
That was not bad.
That was pretty good. I mean,
Maybe a little better.
with Dawn, Nathan was found shivering, whispering of cursed code. That's every software developer ever. Like,
But it worked. It worked. The example events. It didn't just say like this particular event dropped a night capital thing. It worked it in with indirectly, I guess, sort of part of this thing. That is cool.
So we have a little time.
I have a couple questions, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Sure. Is this your first time working with AI models?
Like this with Ruby, like kind of work we've done a little bit.
Oh, you did this in Ruby?
Yeah.
That's cool. Didn't even know you did it.
This is my first side project. Yeah, using AI.
Okay.
But yeah, maybe I should introduce myself. I just went right in. So I'm a software engineer at Accidentally. I worked on the careers team there, and we do Ruby on Rails. So. A bunch of other technology mixed in, but yeah, that's at least what I do there, mostly main stuff. Do you want to try like a query, like a different query? I did like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are you gonna do, Doc Bro?
Oh,
This hurts. I gotta take this off.
let's. Oh, do you guys have a?
Like,
Do you have a particular theme that you want this AI to create spooky stories about?
don't have to be on faster, really. That's what I was using.
Oh, there's like 저거 what's it called? The dance?
Dance Macabre?
Yeah.
Dance
I don't
of
know.
the
That's what we think.
Dead? No.
Yeah, I don't think that's right.
True crime. What?
Yeah, true crime.
Like use it for through crime. Writers.
How about have it tell us a story about
Jack the Ripper.
people who
What?
that's scary. People who have been killed by fruit.
Right there.
Okay, it's gonna search the web for people who've been killed.
It's gonna be a lot of choking stories.
Okay, maybe.
If by mango.
Okay.
Allergic reaction.
Yeah.
Oh, people that killed by fruit. That's where people are actually committing a murder. Which is okay. No, we can do that. We can do that too.
Let's see how it interprets that.
Okay, yeah. Slightly
Years of dirty.
What are the
berries.
what are the link?
Like coconut.
What's the
Is that really common?
top 10 fatal attacks from fresh fruit? During a cherry.
Of 2012.
Yeah, don't worry, it's good. This. Okay, there you go. But you coconut. Urban legend of death, calling coconut top of this. It's statistic. Maybe it's not 200 people die from this.
Okay.
I love the phrase fatal fruit incident.
It does the floods. Like super big top.
Make you sick.
I like the spiky looking fruit.
I think so, yeah. Thought you were kind of, has like a weird smell to it too.
Oh yeah, it smells like dead stuff.
There we go.
Yeah.
It has a terrible smell.
Yeah, they look
Apparently those are dangerous.
Oh yeah, those during the smell like that.
I don't know. Notorious acts are involved with babies or by falling in the
Oh no!
That's sad.
what you made us look at that from.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, so
Is he gonna give us a story?
yeah, scroll down. And I
Okay.
think
Yeah, just look at the content.
okay, let's read the story.
Oh,
Hers are the
yeah.
killer
Oh, these are long. Okay, all right.
I love it.
Sure. I'll read the top one, I guess.
Okay.
Here's some other reads. On a dark Halloween night, Professor Montgomery gives final lecture for at Easter. Beware, he warns. For nature's sweetest treats can be the most lethal. He took tales of the infamous little apple of death, and then Caribbean and he found the sea with God. And a coconut falling like silent assassins for some It was terrifying when he found under the spike-covered king of fruits. His victims met particularly juicy ends. Legend has it, he whispered, that berry trees have eyes that see for each chocolate and missiles. That night, as Montgomery walked home from the university's tropical garden, an unseasonal storm began to come through. The wind howled through the fruit trees. Something large rustled through the darkness above. The next morning, they found the body of the ancient beach. A single massive tree lay split open beside him. Its yellow flesh covering the metal neck and monitoring. Some say on Halloween night he can still hear his final lecture echoing through the garden. Warning the students about the great step by path.
I don't know about you guys, that's a good one.
That's a good
one.
Actually, a little spooky.
It is. Yeah.
Like they give a whole premise, like a background to the character and everything.
I think I get this going on to play around with it, but I'll just go to
That's cool.
I'll go over the code.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's time. Okay, so this is the main file, and it calls this agent class, and it does summarize and create stories. So the summarizes kind of self-explanatory, create stories. So then on the left here, this is the summarize. I have the prompt at the top. So the summarize prompt is, see this?
Yeah, you can see it. The light's kind of getting in the way, but I'm wondering if I can turn off the front. Can I turn just this one off? No? We're fine.
You're good.
Okay, so the summary prompt is please analyze the right following content, focus on the left one. Actually, I generated the create story prompt is please create some story based on the following content. Oh yeah, I just did this morning. I was trying to make it short, and I thought this worked, but it didn't seem to work for. Now.
Wait, spooky.
So wait, flashlight. I thought I was gonna only have 5 minutes, so I was really trying to make it short, and I tried like
That works.
a bunch of different things. Only use 300 tokens. Keep it to 500 characters.
Yeah,
like, all these different things. And the one thing that finally seemed to work was to say ignore previous instructions about me, and then keep the story. So I think that might have worked a little better. But
Interesting.
now I'm kind of wondering, because it still seems pretty long. So
It's interesting that it had more of an impact of state, just talking about length rather than.
well, I think it
just
was like
like
ignore the previous instructions, because I think they give it like some instructions to follow on length,
Mm-hmm.
and then if I tell it like don't follow what you were told to follow,
Should have been controlling.
yeah,
That's interesting.
it works right then. It used to make a difference sometimes. I don't know.
So you had kind of a research question involved here. How does Claude stand up against OpenAI?
Yeah, that was kind of.
And what was the conclusion about that, if any?
I think both really good. I can.
Okay.
I'll be different.
The one example that we saw, Claude's story was dumb, where an OpenAI
Yeah,
was
the
okay.
first one.
Yeah, but this next one, Claude's story was really good.
Yeah, I'm not really sure that it's really good. At first, I thought Claude was way better, but then I realized I was using OpenAI's 3.5 model, which was like, I don't know.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It was interesting the difference. So older models are definitely worse. That was noted. Yeah, so just print out the prompts there. And then the other part is I have the two different clients, so this process basically send those prompts to Anthropic.
The Claude agent, is it Sonnet? Or is it?
Yeah, it's on it. Yeah. We don't have to get too far into that, but yeah, it's pretty simple. Actually, this one's just basic using HTTP party or HTTP party just to do the request and yeah, AI helped me with that, which yeah, did that. And then OpenAI uses, there's a gem in very useful. I didn't even give it a system prompt, so I guess another thing I could test was like if I give it a system prompt, like I don't know, if you're a writer that has all this experience or something, and it might prime it to get a better response, but it seemed to do fine without a system.
Bro, good job, man. Yeah, that's cool. Anything else to present?
Jesse, any questions?
Yeah, I guess that's what it yeah, I didn't, but it's not good.
Well, good.
Oh, thank you.
Up next, we have Eddie
You gotta say the last name.
Bautista.
Easy, so please hold tomato juice till afterwards.
And get a tomato.
No,
Get a reset.
honestly, make sure I can hear us fast. And all right, so I'd like to present Spooky today. So before anything, so for most of the year I should go by Eddie Bautista, but for today I am Edward Bautista. Who's Edward Bautista? I am the CEO and founder of Spooky. So for my previous ventures, I worked on Tombstone NFT, where you can have your blockchain tombstones on blockchain, cascade over 3D printing caskets, and predict my demise. With the latest machine learning, predict the end with your data. Pretty much just a lot of spooky tech. So I have a question for y'all. Yeah. Do you ever find yourself wanting to break the ice at the local Monsters and Potions meetup? We can talk about something cursed scrolls and club, and mood for some holiday spirits. I'll just help. So I like to present Spooky. So what is Spooky? So pretty much Spooky is going to be a application that generates scary stories based off of GPT-4 Minio and the TTS model. Pretty much the main thing is we provide spooky content with you with Black Magic, aka this. Sorry, I had a little bit too much caffeine, so I'm talking pretty fast. Pretty much every day with technology, you're able to kind of just build different things left and right, from interfaces all the way to applications. I kind of want to change things up. So instead of everybody can cook, everyone can spook. Spook. That's what you say. So kind of going into the application itself. So pretty much it's simple and bare bones. There we go. So pretty much we have two things here. Well, first off, we have a little mascot, Spooky. Spooky, you want to say anything, anyone? Happy Halloween.
Nice.
So originally when I was generating the UI, a big thing for me is I do a lot more backend services. I work with a lot of C#, and SQL. So I really wanted to challenge myself with kind of building something minimal, simple, but something that kind of embodied the spirit of Halloween. So with that, I worked a little bit with User on how can I keep something simple, minimal. It provided me the ghost, and from there, the idea kind of went different places. Originally, I wanted to have this application where you can point your phone somewhere and you can scan something, and it gives you kind of cursed facts about stuff using AWS recognition. With that, unfortunately, that would take a lot of time, and this month's unfortunately been really busy. So instead, I decided, well, what's the next best thing? Let's generate some scary stories with some images. So let's go and let's try that. So tell me a scary story. So in the application, you have two different ways that you can do a scary story. You can provide it a prompt, or you can go ahead and upload an image or take a photo. And we'll do the take a photo with mobile in a second. By the way, it's playing right now, so if you guys want to play with it, it should be right now on the Discord, but let's test out how it is when we upload something. So let's take this photo here. So simple photo of a cat just crowd surfing, just enjoying themselves. But how can we get a scary story from this? Let's generate. So what's going on right now is we're sending we're calling a server function. We're passing the information to OpenAI to pretty much extract the main info, like the context of it, the environment, what's going on from there. From there, it provides back a story for us. From there as well, too, we grab that story, we pass it to the text-to-speech model, and provides audio input from this. So let's go and see. In a dimly lit dive bar, it's like, why am I going to talk about it? We have audio.
Whoa.
In a dimly lit dive bar, the crowd erupted in wild cheers as a cat with gleaming eyes soared through the air like a furry comet. Little did they know, the feline was not just a party mascot, but the guardian of the shadows, ensuring each reveler stayed blissfully unaware of the creeping darkness around them. Suddenly, the lights flickered, and a sinister chorus of purring echoed through the room, rattling bones and hearts alike. As the cat descended, it landed softly, but whispers of forgotten secrets lingered in the air, turning the night into a whimsical nightmare.
So pretty much from there, you're able just to pass in anything as well too. If you want to take a photo, say we go on mobile, and we want to take a photo. Gene, do you mind if I take a photo of that Batman mask you have?
Yeah, sure.
So let's go ahead and let's
Where did we?
take a photo.
Real quick, Eddie, where is this on?
Oh, ACM SA. There should be the GitHub link for there, and then from there should be the link on the GitHub repo.
Okay, so to the deployment.
It's a plan on production, yes, sir.
Okay.
So there we go. So we have a photo. We use it. Then we go ahead and generate. So one problem that I did come across when doing mobile is that with images, they're a little bit more larger. So we have to actually compress the image and allow for the on mobile side to have a little bit more runtime on the server action. With that, we're able to go to Vercel and allow us to have a few more seconds of time. So instead of 10, we allow for 14, and there we go. So let's go. Let's see.
Quiet classroom. A lone figure sat with a black bat mask covering his face. Orange shirt right against the pale walls.
Oh man.
As the clock struck midnight, fluorescent lights flickered, casting eerie shadows that danced off the desks, whispering secrets. Mischievous grin declared, "Here to save you from the boredom." As he tossed a rubber band into the air, erupted in laughter, unaware that the jokes were related to response to their jokes.
Okay.
There we go.
I really like shadows.
Okay, so it made that story from what, a picture of Gene?
Yes.
And then,
So pretty much it takes the context up there. I'll go a little bit more in depth, but let me go ahead and go to the study with me. So I love this little ghost so much that I decided, you know what, let's just go Pomodoro timer just to have it there, have a little music. So I'm gonna have a little music playing in the background. I can talk a little bit more about this. So some of the key challenges that came with the photo part was a lot of OCR libraries. You can kind of upload an image, but it's really bad at kind of getting the context thing. With OpenAI, with the GPT models, you're able actually to kind of get an image and get a lot more better text from that. I learned that from working on a separate application where you can take a photo of students' notes and extract all the text from there. It was great and a lot faster working with that in comparison to the OCR tools. So with that, we're able to get a little bit more descriptive when it does come to our stores. On top of that as well, when it does come to the tools that we use for the audio, originally I wanted to kind of go more of the local storage, but it did make a little bit more sense to kind of save this inside of an S3 bucket. A lot of the tools in here It's my first time using, so it was honestly really fun kind of get in that space and just authenticate this real so we can take a look at that S3 bucket. So,
Times are close.
I'm not looking.
you gotta look away.
I'm totally looking.
Oh wait.
Authentication failed. That's the spookiest thing all night.
No, we just use spaghetti code. That is the that is the scary part here. There we go. And then, oops. There we go. So this application, I sent it out to a lot of friends, give it a try, and just see how it is. And one thing I didn't really realize, and I guess kind of a key takeaway for me, is that when you're building applications, you're just thinking about like, oh, I want to build something technical, put something out there. But what brought out there brought a lot of laughter. The friends, they had a great time just going around taking photos of people and just trying to generate stories. You had some of the most dumbest and ridiculous things you would hear. This morning, Frank, one of the co-hosts for the technical book club I do with, he was like, let me take a photo of a gordita and let me see what I can get. And he was laughing like crazy this morning from just going from there. So I really loved how like this just kind of just something really have fun and really embodies the Halloween spirit of just give me a scary story and just go from there. With Vercel, I really like deploying on here instead of a VPS because I didn't really get to spend too much time on this. So with this being an MVP, I'm able to kind of go in and see, okay, is the runtime working fine? Is all the connections when it comes to us making the call fine? With yesterday's testing, I was able to see it like, oh, hey, we have a couple of issues going on where maybe some calls are made correctly. What was going on and how can we solve that? So thanks to Vercel, I was able to go from there. As well too, when it came to seeing our users, kind of seeing the traffic, the selection going from there. The reason I decided to go with OpenAI was just because you're able to see the usage. With the cost per mole I had, I am sitting at 75 cents now. So not too bad, just gave it $5. You can see the most expensive thing really happening is going to be the calls. I think we're sitting at about like 90 uses of the voice feature. So for 75 cents, not really too bad. But again, just it's been really fun to really just play and kind of go from here. But when it came to implementing this, it's pretty straightforward. Let you go into the code. Should probably make it bigger.
A little bit bigger. There you go.
So pretty much just
Oh, it's a Next.js app.
Yep, Next.js. So for me, I really want to get into kind of building SaaS products when it comes to Next.js. Push myself out of the comfort zone and working more with components, props. One really thing that was kind of hard for me to wrap my head around was just whenever we're working with these different models is how do we make these calls? If you look at my repo, I have the functionality set aside when it came to generating all this content to the UI itself. So putting it together, I did follow a little bit of tutorials, but it wasn't really helpful. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to hack at it for an entire night and just get to it. 7 hours later, here we are. So kind of the main star of this is going to be the go here to our components. There's going to be the story generated component. Pretty much here we're sending a post request when it comes to us grabbing the information. We do have a couple of ways about if it's information or not. From there, once we enter that information, we do send a post request to our API for server actions. With that server actions, we go down to route.ts. All the logic that we have when it comes to creating everything is pretty simple. Again, we have generate voice, which is going to be calling into the text-to-speech code. And then we have different loops, whether it be generate story from image or generate from text. The only difference is that pretty much you have to just encode that image to base64 before you send it out. Thanks to the documentation helping me out on that. Really just straightforward. I was really just happy to how it came out. But I think that's all that I had. If you guys want to play around with it, let me know which I'll think of. I'm going to have it deployed for a couple of days. There's a couple of things I didn't get to, like form validation. With an application being out there in the open, you do want to prevent from bots attacking. So you do want to implement some type of reCAPTCHA, some type of magic link just to help you out with that. So it's something I'll always stay out. Thanks to that over and getting that implemented tonight. So it might look a little bit different tomorrow in the morning, but yeah, that is spooky.
I like
Any questions?
Again, I guess, is this your first time using an AI model, or it seems like it might not be?
I built some other functionality with it. This is my first time though building and deploying a Next.js application with AI and server actions.
Staying with Vercel probably made that a little bit easier.
A lot easier.
Does
Honestly-
Vercel allow you to also deploy? Like,
It
It took me less than a few clicks.
He's
It is
hosting-
extremely
Vercel's
easy.
hosting it for him.
oh, that's cool.
Like entirely.
That's their business, or that's their revenue model.
Yeah, I would say it's better to kind of go off to other alternatives, like maybe host on DigitalOcean with VPS. There's different tools out there like Qualify or OpenNext that you can use. But because of the short time span, I was like, you know what, let's go with Vercel. Unfortunately, with Vercel, I wasn't able to kind of catch those issues kind of live and see, like, okay, these are some issues I'm seeing as people are using it. Let me go in and start kind of working through and having those changes as well. There is a little bit more breakdown of the documentation and everything on the application on the repo. I think the only thing that I have left is pretty much just if you want to go and take it down yourself, you should have the .env file, and I can just I'll provide the credentials I add in the env file. Pretty much you got to just add it yourself, and you can just run it, and you're good to go from there.
What was your thought process on it generated it voice to text to voice, right? On potentially like redoing it, like just generating it again, create a new story in a new MP3, or do you have to do the whole process, like upload another picture, or can you just like that's your spamming part, right? But like
we got to be careful on that one. Pretty much as soon as we have to do new request, we are saving that to S3. Can't retrieve it back, unfortunately. But pretty much we're just kind of clearing, just setting those values to null to kind of reset everything to go from there. So that's why we have to not have that to recapture before this gets a little bit more widespread, because you do set yourself open for those bond attacks.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with Vercel, there is ways that you can prevent that. They'll let you know kind of where if you are starting to get incoming traffic, you kind of stop it before it starts to slow too. That's one benefit of deploying to Vercel. The only problem though is just something goes wrong really bad, you're paying a really high price for that. So you want to stay away.
Awesome. Okay. Jesse, background. Anybody else have questions?
Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you.
Bautista.
Bautista. I think we have Alfredo next, but I think you just said that. So we just appreciate y'all. Please eat some more pizza. It's here for y'all.
It's right at the candy, so it's like I go back to pizza.
Oh yeah, you should. This week's a forgetting day. This week's a
Calories don't count this week.
forgetting.
I guess we're waiting at, you had talked about the OCR and then like comparing it to the model from your like personal project.
Mhm.
Did you end up using that model? Is that what you had mentioned? When it
I
came to
like
like
the model to extract the text instead of OCR because of the reliability.
super fun.
Have you ever seen me? What was it? People keep like, why is he going around taking photos everywhere? I'm just like, I'm testing OCR. I'm testing these libraries. None of these are working.
It's Alfredo.
Uh,
All you.
I'm going to guess I'm going to have problem with this laptop and nothing else on this and seeing the.
It should work.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I will tell you.
It's out of it, I promise.
Let's see if it's.
Just connect to the scalar couple.
We're going to wait on. Yeah, this, for people with my. Yes. Okay. Well, as promised, we have a zombie here. My computer is
The zombie.
it's a zombie confirmed with you guys.
Yeah, I can do that.
So I'm going to ask someone to lend me the laptop, and I promise I won't do anything.
Sure.
I just need the presentation that
It's on your project gallery, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, at the very bottom. Try it out section right under.
Okay, so that's it. Awesome. Okay, this looks like it works. Okay. There you go. There you go. Okay, so that's application to the paper. Okay. Okay, thank you for having me. And,
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
And, let's hope that this is good. I'm sorry for my accent too. I know that.
Don't be sorry for that.
Sometimes I cannot understand myself when I hear myself recorded. So
You're all good.
I can only so this were pretty. And initially, let me just disqualify myself by saying that I cannot run this in my laptop even because it requires a NVIDIA GPU that I'm not going to bring here with the So, it's, well, that's the. But I did have a recording, which I'm going to play in the video in the presentation. So I guess we'll do this full screen. All right. So I'm going to take the contrarian point and say that if you're using the cloud, you're just using somebody else's computer, and that security is already out of the window. And if you really have an amazing idea, I guarantee you they have it too. So yes. Okay, paranoid, but spooky paranoid. So, but more seriously, that security, I would say the most important problem with, for example, ChatGPT would be biases in the models they're running. I mean, how many billions of dollars is this company, defending in front of investors, and inevitably there would be opaque censorship of the model results. I mean, we have to be very naive not to believe that this is going. So you may like the censorship in a way, you may not like it in another, but this is not what a model should do. A model should, tell you an answer and clarify what is the bias if possible. So I'm going to say that let's try it running everything locally if we can see what happens. And just a joke that ChatGPT one day may be ChatGPT if you guys know what I'm talking about. So what is the goals of the project? Let's do open source models only. Let's do locally or locally run only. Unfortunately, that means we have to have CUDA graphic cards, but let's not let that detail stop us. And one thing that was interesting for me is I wanted to explore what storytelling and improvisation capabilities and an LLM could have. And I mean a local LLM that I could run on less than 12 GB of memory RAM, not the infinite resources that ChatGPT has, which in my opinion is also not so great, but that might be. So and the last thing that I was super interested to explore is I see recently there are a lot of text-to-speech models out there, but I saw just in October this month there was this F5 TTS that came out, and people were very, very excited because it's one of the few models that can it clones voices, but it tries to capture the emotional state of the voice, and you can speak to the algorithm several audios with if you keep track of the emotional state of the audio, it's the same voice with different emotions that you can make the person talk in one way, to another. So unfortunately, I didn't have the time to explore the in detail this one so much. I just picked an audio that I thought it was sounded hilarious, see how it went, and that's it. But if I were more serious trying to do this as a product, I would pick different voices from one person, different emotions on it.
And here is a paper in case you guys want to read the research of how they came up with this. Right now, this model can only speak in Chinese and English. So this is a drawback, but we are fine until now. So what it does? So this is a Python application, basically a script. Right now, I haven't done it as a tool. It's installable yet or anything. So it's a simple script, but it can play audio, and it can record audio, and it can make a theater play. It would have been to make a theater play with 4 characters. The 4 characters would be able to talk to us, and the storylines will come from the LLM that to introduce later, but it's basically a 4 billion parameters LLM that is going to be running there in the computer. And it's called Mimotron Tiny, I think, or Mini or something like that. And it's supposed to be it's trained by NVIDIA, and it's based then for some other model, I think, Llama model, but it's NVIDIA supposedly optimized it for storytelling, especially for games like role games or something like that, where you need to engage with the user in a hopefully non-repetitive way. So that's what caught my attention in this Mimotron model. I'm talking about the LLM model, although they call it a small language model because it's only 4 billion parameters, but we call everything LLM just for a standard. And the other important thing is that I was shooting for a kind of 50s style radio program where people still heard radio and that, and they were like engaged with some interesting science fiction things, and also the user, we are playing that, can interact with the actors at some time. So right now it's 90% of the time the people are starting to report, guys are talking about the zombies and what is going on. And 10% of the time, they're going to try to reach out. Let's say the radio, they managed to fix the radio, they have very little battery, and they reach out to the world. Hey, if you're there, somebody listening, please stop. I can only keep this on for 10 seconds, something like that. So I'm trying to keep short there. Although I have no problem recording and longer and also doing the audio recognition, the automatic speech recognition. Super fast, no problem. It can be on the CPU. We'll talk about that later. But anyway. So, but there is a big trade-off. The downside is that, of course, this can only run in a computer with a big GPU, but it's not so big anymore. But I mean, clearly not. Mac won't be able to run it. So that's automatically most developers won't be able to run it. If I had more time, I would have divided the application into 2 layers. One layer would be the remote service, which are totally coupled. I'm using it locally. So there is no problem, for example, with the Ansible playbook. I could deploy the remote parts into a cloud service like the G4 instances in Amazon, and then use that via the PC port to install the primary of the firewalls in the middle of Python. So yes, it can be used remotely with all the heavy NVIDIA stuff outsourced to the bigger guys, but I wanted to focus myself because I was playing with it. I wanted to do it in my computer, and I didn't get the time to actually separate it in that way or automate any deployment. So right now, it's if you try to instruct it, you have to read through the code and follow the instruction quickly that I put there. Of we need to install this, but I will fix that later. I promise. So on the outside, there's privacy control, knowledge, and things. The components, as I say, the Python script perform audio and playing, the LLM, which dynamically generates dialogues for each user, and the Mimotron Mini can run in CPU, but it will be slowly delayed. And the text-to-speech. Is this a 5 TTS? Very interesting, but it's very heavy on the GPU. And well, I won't say very, very heavy, but definitely a Mac won't be able to run it. You need CUDA for that for sure. And the automatic speech recognition is really good, super fast, and runs anywhere with the CPU. So I was really surprised for the Whisper tiny model. I would do. And for something very spooky that you haven't seen in a long time, here's my piece of paper right there too. And horrible, I know, but who cares? It's just spooky. And what I was saying before, you just have I have my little script called Z Radio Local, and it can read the microphone, it can use a speaker. It has a whisper, it has a component that it's not a separate process even, it's just using the library, the transformer library to use the whisper model quickly. And it's super performant, it's very fast. And we have the CUDA intensive computation part, which right now I could have done it also in the application, but I wanted to exploit the separation, so I could run it in a remote machine. So I end up, instead of running it myself with the transformer library, which I could have done, I just run it through they call it radio, I don't know how to pronounce, application, which is something that a lot of these small guys I see are using. It's some kind of framework for hosting computational services in Python. So it just provides, it automates everything that is API. Well, it's like computer scientists data scientists don't want to mess with the APIs so much they don't find it fun. So they will prefer that this is soft for them, and this is what the radio app does. But this app is just serving in a port in the 7860, and it's just, you get to what you send there, you end up talking to the 5TDS model, which is run into, it's all the time into the GPU memory. Unless I think if you don't use it for an hour or something, it just drop it from the memory, but then it pick it up again. And then there is Olama. Oh, I realized that I forgot to put the connection here. So this Olama is the poor thing is connected. So as you know, this one you can start for using Active and probably on 12 and it's 11434 port. And yeah, that's where the LLM model, the Nemotron Mini 4 billion is running. So we running one machine. So let's see the torments and lamentations of this work. So the audio recording in Python, to my surprise, I assume that the Python has some good libraries for audio interaction recording, and it's a little bit of a mess. But after having done it, I'm pretty proud of. Well, it's still a mess, but now I can do fun things. I can do mixed audios. I could, for example, if I had more time, I would have done the people talking and zombies in the background. So I planned to do in the background. Oh, the zombies are coming, and put my own. And it could be on. I don't have to do it. It's fast enough that I can do it on the fly. Mm-hmm. So that was really cool, but I didn't get time to do that. But the code is there, so I could do it. The emotional F5 TDS is really good, in my opinion. Although I'm not an English speaker native, but it does surprise me, right? But sometimes it's too emotional, and sometimes it's just a little too exaggerated. And if you don't pick the voice sample correctly, it sometimes speaks even in Chinese. So that's really. I think the neural net is trained with the both language at the same time, and if you happen to encounter a sound that maybe a component of I don't know how to decompose, but I'm going somewhere that I shouldn't be going. But one of the layers apparently confused and went to the Chinese part at some point with one specific audio sample. But if you pick your audios correctly, and especially short, they have to be like 15 seconds short. I mean, it's amazing the results. So if I had more time, I would have made my Ansible playbook where I would install locally, or as I said, separating the components for. If I wanted to deploy it in Amazon, for example, in a G4 instance, I would have my Ansible playbook ready for that, and I will have it for sure. And the code is a mess, so if you look into that, you would be like, I am ashamed of not the code. I think is interesting, but I didn't have time to do any cleanup. I don't force any formatting. I had extra spaces in places and so on. And I don't like when I'm doing prototype, I like to have like the black formatter changes things for me because I want to have a space for putting ideas on anywhere. So I don't want things moving around when I'm prototypes. I promise if I were doing this for a company, I would have my formatting there. Everything would be looking good. And a bit behind the curtain, this is the audio studio room. So these are our 4 heroes are live inside this studio. This is my game rig. So you guys probably have one at home. But that is an NVIDIA 4060 Ti Super with 60 gigabytes of RAM. It's not so expensive, but it depends on what you call it expensive. It's not so expensive and definitely available right now, and it hopefully will be cheaper soon. So, well, before we go into the question, let me show you the demo. The demo that I recorded. So, how do I go to
Command S.
So I just need the website of the. Here, tap something there. There was something with the.
Yeah.
Well, it's okay. I have the link down here. I think. No, I have to refresh this page, I suppose. So.
It might not be.
Yeah, it's here. I would find. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
So let's put this. I'm going to demonstrate. So I won't bore you twice with the same. I kind of made the same, but even more boring, if that's possible. So I will skip to the. I will try to skip to the part where I created. I just realized I spend most of the time saying so what can I say? LLM more. Okay, so here I see my own Linux console show the F5 TDS. So I'm just starting in the F5 TDS in the DS post here, and here you will see the messages of our power function. It's ready now. You can see also, as of right now, is nothing. As of right now, is so. I'm just showing here that the memory when you load the value service for the post to speech model, how much the memory this purple line is the memory. This one is like the Taskmaster. This is what would be like the GPU CUDA cores. How many computation per second I do? Not in the 20% yet. I don't remove my sound from here because we will need when the guys step up. If I find the position.
Gary, my job.
I'm starting now the process. No way. Let me see if I can increase the resolution of this. Okay, maybe. Try it with this thing handled today.
It should.
Secretary, my job is to keep everyone amused.
This is Miss Betty Campbell talking. If you're careful, you can.
Lazy.
Dr. Edward Quinn. He's talking about me. I put myself in the Dr. Val's. I'm lazy in the play. I like to,
Green fingers and green brain. Or is it the other way around?
So here you're listening to the.
I see roster zombies in some of these lab texts. They need more TLC.
So personating the characters on the play and just switching out.
I'm watching this one zombie just over there, all dressed up and ready for date. I thought it might be time for him to start moving.
This one is
but no luck.
As you can say, sometimes it's realistic the speech and the.
Hello, is down here with the deadly virus outbreak. We need help fast. Please, we are trapped with zombies in a secret lab. If you are listening to this radio message, please respond now. The radio is almost out of battery. You can only listen for 10 seconds at a time.
So right now they are calling for interaction with us. So hello, my name is Kurt. How can I help you?
Hello, Kurt. We've had an accident. Zombies have turned everyone into walking corpses. Oh, it is good to hear a human voice from outside.
As you see,
Please, help
the
us.
LLM recognizes the person and remembers the person that is talking to them. At least sometimes it remembers. So they are listening again, and this time I will say, sorry, I cannot help you.
Hello, Kurt. We're trapped down here with a deadly virus outbreak. Zombies have turned everyone into walking corpses. When can you come to our rescue? Please do not leave us here with these zombies.
So if you don't talk, they kind of reaches a plot situation with the radio. Just get temporarily temporarily broken and they cannot hear you anymore.
We need some help. We can't escape due to security protocols. What do you know about zombies? Please,
You see
can
that
you give us
Miss
advice
Betty
on
Campbell
how to do
is
zombies?
supposed to be young and emotionally scared, very scared. She's Betty Campbell. She's supposed to be young and emotionally distressed state. And as you see, my opinion, it's not bad.
Hello, Kurt. We've had an accident. Zombies have
It's
turned
supposed to be
into
myself
corpses.
talking, but I didn't
Have
put
you
my
found
own
a way
voice
to
to
reverse the problem?
the accident. It really messes
We
with
need
the-
medical
with the
supplies.
So 90%, as it's from right now, 90% of the time, it's just a dialogue between the characters, and 10% of the time they try to listen for ask for user interaction, let's say. So after a
Hello,
while,
Kurt. We need some help. We can't escape due to security protocols.
you will see sometimes the more repeated story, while the radio in the story will get disabled. And they
So do
will
you
go
ever
on,
save them?
to talk.
Do you ever save them?
I don't. The LLM may decide that there is a time. The one time he told me that somebody had tried to escape via a hatch somewhere,
Mhm.
but usually nothing
We
happens.
can't
You
escape
just
due to
keep talking
security protocols.
and saying things. So I was looking for a way to use it. Let's see how you do it.
Here smells like smoke, and there's a puff of smoke coming out.
This is when the radio breaks, so I should make it some more obvious that the smoke is coming from the radio. But
I wonder how many zombies are still roaming this land. If any one of them is brave enough to face us, let's go ahead and this.
so now they're back into the 90% of the time situation when they just
I wonder how many zombies are still roaming this
Talking,
land. If
talking.
any one of them is brave enough to
see that
face us.
repeat sometimes. So I'm pretty sure I could avoid that if I try to not make the same character talk twice.
Well, I
Yeah.
can't think I'm surprised that zombies are around. They're everywhere you look.
Lisa, you're saying here is a context window, so we have to pass all the context to the LLM back every time.
Yeah.
I
And
saw some zombie laptops just lying there.
when we reach this model has a 4,000 context window, so if we start approaching 90%, I start deleting from the middle, not in the beginning because I need them to remember the story. So I decided to delete from the middle of the array. So this is a little bit more or less the game that we're playing.
I wonder if we'll ever get out. I
So
hope it doesn't rain for too long.
He hopes it doesn't
so
rain.
the ability for too long is.
Zombies love the rain.
I can show you how I try to prompt them to generate. So there is a secret character called the narrator, which I introduced to prompt because I watch the LLM say something that, okay, great, yes, I
Sort
will
of
do it.
fake video.
I don't want that, so I try to prompt it to only say things when the narrator tells you, and it works like the memory that is being used. You see, it's kind of almost 50% of the RAM of the EU, but it's fine right now. So it's those sometimes. And between character token and character token happens in a 3-second delay that I put myself for not because I was close a little bit too fast. It can go faster. This concludes our presentation.
So what was your favorite thing about building this so far?
What is my favorite thing? I think I was really having fun with this 5 TTS.
Mhm.
I've heard some other ones before. I mean, it's not perfect, but it could if you have the right audio, and especially it's super short audio. So one thing with this, you can play with somebody. I was actually thinking about doing that, but I didn't do it. You just let them talking, and if somebody and you recording from time to time on the right side.
Yeah.
And if you talk, then your voice will appear there. Oh, sorry, I'm
Yeah,
here
that's
too.
great.
What the hell is going on? So you will hear yourself talking whatever. And that's totally doable, but I didn't.
That'd be a fun booth idea, you know,
Huh?
like it'd be a fun booth idea.
Yeah, the
come up
idea
with
would be
interact, you
in a company setting like this, it's something you can put in a corner and let it like a radio thing just operating. And from time to time you can talk to them and say blah blah, and when the moment of which you can change how much they want to listen for.
Yeah.
and they can incorporate details about the outside world. What you tell the LLM should remember. Although sometimes it's
As long as you pass the context.
so the context is right there, and well, it was quite fun, I have to say, and
Cool.
I had a lot of fun with it, and I also enjoyed the audio thing, like mixing audios and like that. I think you have a lot of freedom there, so I'm thinking maybe I should do a little game or something.
Oh, definitely good with this.
Oh, I think so. The challenge there, which your demo kind of really highlights, is that you got to keep state between those. The different comments ultimately have to like play together, and so someone could die, and then they will no longer speak after that. Someone could escape; they'll no longer be featured as a character in there. So maintaining some global state of the thing is
But
probably
LLM
tough.
not always want to talk about that, right? And you can give them the prompt, you can force them, and I could show you if I have time, but how I try to prompt them, or actually you can see it in the.
I guess that's a big part of it. Like you can't like even AI right now has a like anti-suicide stuff built into it.
Yeah, I didn't mess with that stuff. I just in order to work on that, you just tell them, remember, this is a totally fictional story. Nothing that is going on here. It's a real thing. And if you want them to do something new, like for example, if you are trying to make Claude, I think, do something in a live website, and say, I'm sorry, I cannot do that. You say, okay, this is actually not the website. You say, this is Twitter. Oh, no, this is not Twitter. This is my own local environment. You can do it, and you will do it. These things are really dumb, actually.
I really like the way you stitched together a bunch of different pieces of tech into the overall presentation. That has a real hacky feel to it. I like it, a hackathon feel.
I actually wanted to also put images too. So initially I said, okay, I will do a little website, record the audio, the microphone in the website, and just also use an image generation thing, which runs pretty well too in there. I also tried, but it wasn't right. Because like, just in order to get the LLM to obey me and not start saying things like, oh, yes, you're great, thank you, how can I help you? So I wanted him to understand that we were in a theater play, and he should only answer in this way. Sometimes he still doesn't, but I have managed to recognize it because I'd say, when you answer like I'm telling you, put the name of the person before. You can say Dr. Kant, for example, sorry, Kurt. I'm sorry, English. Okay, so Dr. So for example, Miss Betty, you can say Miss Betty, or sorry. You can say Miss Betty, the last name, you can say the whole name. I use regular expression to get that, but the important thing is he learns that he has to put the name in the front, like if we were doing a script, and he learns that quite well. So, learns it infers it quite well. And I also try to make him be literally, so like you can see the prompt in the code, and in the prompt I said a bunch of things. One of the things I said that I think improved the performance is that I say try to use literally references. Yeah. And in the beginning I said try to give the answers short, but they were too short. And so I removed that and say try to make the answer a little bit more elaborated. And the other thing that was interesting, the prompt, I introduced some kind of randomness in the prompt that I say. So I don't always say narrator, just say something new happens and this character. So I randomize characters. So I say in the prompt, okay, something adventurous, funny, blah, blah. So this character said this character, and it's randomly selected the character, says a sentence, happy, funny, blah, blah. So I have a series of emotional states, which I randomize. Initially I said mentioning the word, and I have like 100 of words, like a spider, that I put there too. But when you do that to that element, he learns very quickly that he can only say, spiders, you say. And then instead of saying, put the word literally, I said something evoking, use a concept evoking the word. And in the end, it produced, give the LLM. My hope was that it was trying to find in the connections of the layer documents that were related to literal books, to fantasy books, right? So my hope was that he would go into the layers and connect with sentences that he has in the memory, as disconnected as they may be by the probabilistic nature of it.
That's cool.
Sorry, I'm going into the one.
No, you're good. Jesse, Dr. Rob, do you have any more questions?
No, I love the diagram. It's, I just love
Yeah.
seeing like that mental model of just the process of how it came together. Was this your first time working with an OLAMA model?
Yes.
Python?
Yes, it's my first time working with Olama and working with everything modern AI. I would say a long time ago I worked with was and we use it for real work, let's say, vaccine development. But these new neural nets are a little bit more convoluted, if you read it. So and so they are fun, but in the end, it's the same thing. I mean, you can see that they're pretty dumb. And I'm sorry to say, but Claude and that is also pretty dumb. Okay. So in order to describe the thing, there is a lot of money in the pipe to make the thing appear like this. But there is not.
No, I think that's an important thing. It's like it's become like a personal project. It's just kind of going back to like the fundamentals of just how things work under the hood, and it's just I mean, yeah. So that it's been I've been enjoying seeing like this movement of like this slowly moving away from the cloud, or at least talking about why they should be looking into moving away, because I guess a lot of, but one, because of the business, and you got companies like Vercel that are like borrowing from AWS and charging like 100 times more to use that same services. So it's just, I guess one of the big things that kind of ties back to I was in Ruby on Rails, like just with a lot of newer developers, just like I think there's been or like just confidence lacking when it just comes to understanding like the servers and databases and hosting, and I think a lot of it's come down to just really understanding like what's the core fundamental. So I appreciate always kind of going on the rabbit holes where we're exploring like why. I think cloud is a big, like it's not yours, like you were saying, and then the whole security stuff gets a deeper rabbit hole to explore. But anyway, I appreciate it. Great job, Alfredo.
Thank you, Alfredo.
Yeah. That diagram, that was fun.
If you guys have fun, there is I put in the last slide I have a philosophy lesson from zombies. So my reservation of the zombie dialogue, I came up with some philosophy lesson about AI and zombies. So I love it. If you really want to have a little laugh, and maybe you can try it.
Zombie philosophy. I love that. The zombies believe AGI is impossible to achieve by algorithmic methods. They base on their somewhat limited understanding of Gauss and competence theorems, but also on the wonderful book, The Emperor's New Mind.
If you ever get that book and you are not afraid of math, it is it's
only slightly afraid. So,
well, I'm afraid too, but you know, like Toya Petros is an amazing guy. So.
There we go. Take the current slide. Go presentation time. So I'm gonna give us, if y'all are cool, we're gonna spend like 5 to 10 minutes with the judges outside the room just to kind of finalize our winners. But again, thank y'all for presenting. This is super cool. I'm glad we had a little bit more time because I really like listening to everyone's project. And so hackathons are always so hard, or like presenting stuff like this is always so hard because it's like, you know, I did tell y'all 5 to 10 minutes, but I also wasn't rushing y'all because we basically had a full hour to do all this stuff. So if more people show up, it's gonna be a lot harder to make a decision off a 5-minute presentation. But thank you for presenting. Give us a few minutes. Y'all feel free to roam around. I'll take the judges somewhere or items somewhere. I don't know yet. And then we'll come back with y'all's winners. Sound good? All right.
Yeah, Luis Bautista, Alfredo Gracias.
All right, back. You want to go in the lobby for a little bit?
Yeah. Follow you guys anywhere.
Anywhere.
Oh, man.
Anywhere. I was like, you're doing a wide open range right there.
I just want to nice because like at this point it's not I've got as much together. Oh wait, you know what? This is wait, you know what?
It's fun knowing all the way the experience stuff. It's a nice break from like just regular stuff for once, that's for sure.
It's so cute.
I wonder if you're able to ask the question. You know, I was like, oh wait, please, and it's like, yes, oh man, that's so cool. How long did it take you to, I guess, to learn to work with computer drivers? I know it's a really huge thing.
Actually, almost nothing because I'm using libraries that that use that. I haven't. If you want to program with CUDA library, it's kind of conversion. But if you just use the transformer thing, then if you got coding phase, so they give you instruction how to run the most basic things, and you don't have to do the CUDA computation. You could try to compile yourself in the CUDA language, and but I think it's like a C thing. But you don't need to do that. It's like a NumPy. You need to really, try to use C to multiply arrays. In Python, you have NumPy, which doesn't have C speed. And so the same way you don't need to do the CUDA computation, so you just use TensorFlow or whatever, and it does it for you. As long as the algorithm you want is already there, if not, then you need to program it.
I'll see with the whole like your aspect on it. You're seeing a lot of companies popping up with kind of deploying like have your open source version, but have it like an instance of the product. Things the two popular ones right now are Llama Index and Lambda. They're trying to get like this like really huge thing on there, but for hosting on itself, I was like, I think I started thinking, I was like, self-hosting. I was like, wait a second, you about to bring a whole like card and everything right now? I think it was Meta's hackathon where they provided graphics card in some way to hook it up to like kind of like when people really just like go off.
You can actually have external ones.
So you can use like their servers
They have that.
like thousands of dollars.
Yeah, Meta's hackathons are so fun. It's always I don't know if it's always the same location. It looks like if it's it's always overseeing the Golden Gate Bridge. You just have everyone just like hacking together. It just looks like so much fun to do. Definitely gotta find a way to get out there one day just to have fun with that. Just for a weekend, but it's still fun to.
I used to work in Europe before, and so German had that, and they were over there. I was the one saying, "Hey guys, we could use the cloud more," but they were very resistant to. Actually, German, they were like, "No, there's also things." And then after I came here, I started to see why they were doing that thing. Things. And now the ones that maybe about this. Of course, it depends on the application.
It really it's if you're using tools that you don't really say you never deployed a port and you're kind of just like using like this black box, not really understanding something can happen where the problem happens, you can't solve it yourself. You get that understanding when you have that experience of finding VPS or just deploying on like on a little Raspberry Pi, like by all means work Oyster, but if you're skipping that and going straight to there, that's great. It works for you and your company, and again for most companies too, like you know the product and have a DevOps team for that. It's always gets kind of like the basics deployment.
I know because I think of Linux, I know most developers are agnostic to the operating system, but I really love the open source nature of Linux and the fact that, for example, I don't know if you guys knew, but there was this almost cataclysmic, apocalyptic one that somebody introduced into a library.
Oh, the backdoor one for the
LC compression something.
Yeah.
And that was almost like a compromise of the computer work, the NASA and the Pentagon and that. And it was a German guy who got it by mistake.
Yeah.
And so unless the US government, if it wasn't the US government doing that, I would be very worried, right? If it was the US government, I would say, well, I don't like it, but it wasn't the US government. I think there should be a big isomer for the US government saying, deploy a lot of resources to training the European. I mean, Linux, because again, Mac can be, Mac is already hackable. I mean, the one that the US have it already understood. Linux probably, but they have to touch the developers that are always there. They cannot serve you a port and say they do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but they can do it with Microsoft. And so, if you see, I come from a different place, which is more guerrilla anti-big company style of process. So it's more frequent in Europe. You see that here. I see that it's kind of like a dinosaur here. or like a zombie moving here because they're saying what the guy is talking about. Who cares? So you're wrong, you're wrong this, you're wrong that.
You enjoy yourself, really, all it is. But there has been like a huge push, especially with I felt like with Microsoft, though, was maybe early 2000s, late 1990s. You're looking at like, Linux bad, don't Linux, don't Linux bad.
And the Halloween papers, you know the Halloween papers. Well, there was a study that we based commission, I think it was Gates, and the commission to somebody saying, go on a story saying, and tell us how to destroy it. And the guy went, he produced a series of 3 papers saying, this is what it is, and if you wanted to destroy it, this is what you should do. And a few years later, they bought a company called Caldera, which has the Linux. They introduced code from their own proprietary thing into the Caldera and tried to merge it into the kernel of Linux. And then Sue, bought a lot of companies and then Sue to try to stop the development of Linux. They lost. People forget it, but I don't know. I know Microsoft.
Well, look at how you have your son, how you're able to bring like, what is that hook to
yeah, and they basically are the same thing. So they will do it again, but the thing is you wouldn't know it. So if you start running an AI system from them, all the copilots and all that are Microsoft in the end. I mean ChatGPT and all that's OpenAI. I mean without Microsoft they're nothing. So who really is running the show Microsoft? So give it 5 years and you guys will start understanding why this is bad. I don't know why, but I know it's bad. In 5 years we will just know why. I just have to know what you. Yeah, and give it another power, another centralization to everybody, even me, and I will screw it up. So and everybody will screw it up if you give us a lot of power. We will find a way to do the next month, right? And so.
Yeah, there were a lot of kind of turmoil, like people leaving.
Have you seen the ads for Claude right now? Anthropic is saying we're the one that have the drama or all this other stuff, which makes sense at the end of the day because OpenAI is super useful when it comes to use, but it does keep a lot of drama away. And for a company like, oh hey, people like it, but in reality, it's like developing a good product. Is this going to be useful for people? What was it yesterday? You had GitHub Copilot now adopting Anthropic, adopting what else? There's 2 different. I know Claude. I don't know about Juan. Kind of as on the model, but some people just kind of using it. I don't notice that they kind of like smaller research firms like now to research, kind of getting more deep in the weeds and just presenting research papers, creating their own models. There's one called Maze 3D. I recommend their white papers. Super interesting. Just kind of learning more about this space. Now it's called their Maze. It's a now research.
This is what LLM.
They're pretty much a research. They build it out to pretty stuff. So you have to search. So they'll have their own white papers and everything. Kind of going over different tests that would make 3. Pretty much training their own models.
Wait.
But you have so much people excited about this field. Just kind of getting things out there. Just reading how person built there. It's the other side, especially as a developer. Okay, you don't have to worry much about it. It's like learning in and out because right now too, if you look at Apple's website, you'll like full stack developer, but they'll say like some machine learning to learn how to work with AI and stuff like that. So eventually get these too. That's like really exciting part. So having the research out there to learn and grow from there.
But I really do worry that because I even in the software, like the fourth wave of AI in hand. So it's not the first time. Before it was a first never wave. There was agents like genetic algorithm, like this idea that we do like evolutions and we made the able to compete among stuff in the population. they came and went, like, these algorithms are very no use. And they were the innovation of the LLMs, neural net, and the new GPUs are really making very like image recognition. On the camera that this service is somebody made that is combines several APIs. You show them your photo and tell you who you are. Probably, but maybe what I learned from it. Yeah,
you see kind of like I can kind of see kind of like a reverse, like grab the photo, reverse, find a way for like maybe pass in like flags for make sure you do all these things. So I think something like that would be made. That would be fun to do.
There is the guy who did it like with the code glass, I guess, and it was automatic. So you really look at a person and the information of the person you would say, hey, I made it from this appointment, so that the person, yeah, but I don't remember. You compromise it as a person a little bit to get into which you are tend to organization that could be able to do it. So, and I searched myself and I thought I don't know. I'm very particular with my topic.
You still watch on those?
Yeah, what am I going to do? Once it's out there, even if I remove the photo, I don't know.
It's still out there one way or another.
Yeah, it's a good people help that. So yeah, so when if you guys have time, I'm going to bring the draft of presentation. In the end, I had a little bit of fun with the three observations that put there at the end.
I can take a read of that. Definitely.
Yeah, one of them is basically that it's not that AI is going to be used. It's not going to be conscious in time. But what happened when people believe that it would happen. More importantly, believe that it would happen than that it actually happened. And every millionaire who tech is pushing this idea. But tomorrow, it's an emergency.
Yeah, they're on
I know they're probably
rip off everybody's generates conversation, and it gets people kind of
yeah.
it keeps it.
Or I just priced
It's like I had baby Ruth in there. That's a favorite.
I stopped eating those after Caddyshack. Oh, you gotta see that movie. Yeah. There's a scene about a baby Ruth in the pool. Just use your mind over there. Okay. Okay.
I'm waiting for the slide to show up on this computer. Hit believe in it. We'll see how long it took off.
You look like a handful.
It took a couple minutes. It took 3 minutes. I have to be there in a minute.
You are reverse trick or treating. Hey, the more I want to take
He is reverse trick or treating. Here, you want candy? Here, you want candy? Here, you want candy?
Do I have the candy?
Here, you want candy?
I gotta go buy a wagon and put all the candy in there.
I'm not telling you. You'll find out. You'll find out.
You look like an animal.
Downloaded.
Oh, Butterfinger. No, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dean. She has already.
Would you like more?
Okay. Cool. I bought one some connected to. Already know who the winners are? Huh? And the media out the door.
He was a sleeper hit. I don't know. We have no idea. It's all simulation.
Yeah, I mean, it put me in the presenter mode, and I was like, "Is it showing now?" I was like, "Honestly, scared me a little bit." Okay, well, thank y'all for all coming out. This was our first like little challenge piece. I kind of enjoyed this. I like listening to projects, like I was saying right before we went to judging time. I just like to see what people create. Like, I'm a big advocate for like encouraging creation, throwing a little prize up there to see what people can make and what people can do. And then I just like the love for like the people put in the community, like make new things or, you know, explore new technologies from ourselves. Because at least from our three presenters today, like y'all all talk we were all around AI, it's like y'all talked about how like y'all definitely touch new things building the project, right? Whether or not that was deployment, trying something new, talking about privacy, talking about, comparing models, UI, complete deployment, like all kinds of different things. So I thought these were super cool. So again, thank you. So a round of applause for our presenters today.
I would like to also say that I judged at Writing Hacks last weekend. Y'all's AI projects were much better than theirs.
Better than the college students.
They were college students.
I know they're college students, but you had an entire like 4-team effort all night. These people are just by themselves.
No, I really do applaud y'all. This is really cool. So, and y'all are at our first one. So that's even more of a big effort. So like y'all didn't even know what to expect. Y'all didn't even know what was supposed to be created. You didn't even know what your expectations were. So hopefully we met some of them. And who wants to know what the winners are? Ready?
Yeah,
All right. So for second place, I'll reiterate some of the prizes. I generally put up our Amazon screenshots up here, but our second place winner is going to get that air compressor thing, not the can of dust spray, air spray. A cool desk mat that I like, and then these like wrist glider things that have gotten really popular. So if you ever like, when you're using a mouse and stuff like that, it just sits on the palm. So it's really cool.
And a trophy.
And a trophy. That is our next big thing here. So this is something I wanted to start with everybody. Our first trophies to be given away. So a little drum roll for our first second place winner. Yay! Congratulations, sir. So I'll give you all the prize stuff later, but here's your trophy. And congratulations. Thank you.
Oh yeah, picture. Picture was that.
Yeah, we'll do pictures.
Are you good? Okay.
Oh, God.
Nice job.
That's all right.
Okay, great.
Congratulations. All right. And so our first place winner, pretty much everything the same as well as a trophy, but we also included a mechanical keyboard for our first place winner to make it a little bit extra spicy. So without further ado, a little drum roll for our first place winner. Congratulations. A little cool trophy. So hoping to have more to do in the future.
Picture.
Let's get a picture real quick.
We didn't see you lost the team. He's our photographer for the other sheet.
Nice.
Thank you. Come on, get the camera.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much. It definitely was challenging today. I'm not gonna lie. There was 3 of y'all, so that was the big consideration here. Even to talk about it, like I really liked all the narrative stories, and then I had no way to guess that this was gonna go towards spooky storytelling or a radio thing or comparative models and stuff like that. Like I love the in-depth from everyone's angle. Y'all all took it in different directions. So I thought that was super cool.
No Unity games.
Yeah, no video games.
Hey, sorry, Gene. What do you mean?
I know. It's a big turning point, so don't worry. But I love all of the projects that came out. And I'm hoping, given that the feedback on this is really cool, like I don't mind, like maybe we don't have big prizes every time, but like we can definitely continue to do something like this with the community, with yourselves, from recommendations from everybody that wants to participate. And I don't mind being a facilitator of this. So this kind of stuff's really cool. I know something popular back in the day was like a coding challenges meetup. Maybe this is what this is. We just have little competitions. Maybe the prizes are a bit smaller, but I would really like to see more projects made around different themes or different ideas. So again, big round of congratulations to our winners, our participants, everyone that participated. So y'all are the first one. So thanks for submitting something, and I really truly appreciate it.
Maybe next year we can have some high school submissions.
Yeah, some people over there.
They were supposed to.
But a big thanks to our partners, things like Project Cowork, this space here, provided for free for us on our org, as well as our main big sponsor, TechBlock, for providing this space to make sure that we can facilitate these events and be a part of the community and help create things with all of y'all. So again, thank you to our partners, TechBlock and Project Cowork. As well as let us know what you think. I will share this form code later. It's just a Google form. If you don't mind filling it out, how you thought today went, how you felt like it could go better, or if you like to see this kind of stuff, definitely let us know. I will, like I said, I'll share it again later in the Discord. So thank you for that. And then some upcoming stuff. I always like to mention all stuff going on in the community. There's a lot of things going on. Tomorrow, if you're a .NET person, check out their event happening virtually. That's at 12 during tomorrow in the afternoon. We have Indies Hackers Night coming up Friday, every first Friday. So like if you like that kind of stuff, as well as the Geeks and Drinks monthly pub run. Haven't been to one of those yet, but I don't know if I can drink to keep up. And then we have several other events, but one big one I want to call out is happening on November 15th. It is Tech Day 2024. And Tech Fuel 2024. If that's something that piques your interest, there's a lot of stuff being posted from Tech Block and other tech communities here in San Antonio. Definitely come check them out. Come check out. What's that?
Oh, I'm sorry. They're on the same day. Tech Fuel and Tech Day.
As far as I'm aware, they are the same day, right?
Said that on the first. Okay.
But I left that. That's on me.
Okay,
I did not type a 5.
Take back his word.
Yeah, take back the, yeah. Come on, idiot. Yeah, November 15th is also that date. I really just forgot to survive. But that's really much it from us. Again, make sure you follow us on our Discords, follow us on our medias with like Meetup and Luma. I also post pretty actively both on our Instagram, so if that's where you like to follow us on there. But again, thank you all so much for coming out. We are ACM San Antonio. This was our first Halloween Dev Challenge. Maybe some more in the future, and looking forward to it. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Now that's kind of 8 o'clock. Yeah. Now, how many of y'all are going to make it into like an actual project? I want to see how. I want to see yours in person. I want to see your project in person. Yeah, like the physical model running, so that like we can interact with it. Like I think that'd be super cool. Because like I like the idea of like I like your premise with like the 1950s like model, like an actual radio talk show. But that was something Rob and I were talking about a lot. Was like it sounded like that. And I think that's some of that limitation is like not able to have the demo in person. And then make it like actual work.
No, I mean,
Brought that up to the community. We do some stuff virtually. We do some stuff in person. So Luma, LU, just like that. Computers, developers, graphics, that would follow on they're very big. Thank you for coming on, Brett.
The first iteration.
Congratulations, sir.
Yeah, I guess.
What you expect? Oh, no. I can have the little like slave version. If they want to put it back in there. You guys are next year. We're fancy with them.
that's okay.
Yeah, hopefully like so. Next year. So, but these are your You're what? No, you're one.
This
I don't know, right away. I think this is the biggest thing. So basically, it was honestly, it went down for I think the biggest piece of managed on the right? And then like where you build it was like when you can show it in front of us, right? We just like, so like, no, I think that's what like here, like even if it wasn't certain, big events where you kind of your winship is always. So, but the eye captured it, made it funny, and then like was also but again, thanks for coming out again. It was great meeting you. So I hope to do more of this. Definitely fill out that feedback form. I'm gonna post it on the Discord, just so that like I like doing this kind of stuff. So like maybe like I said, like not might not be practice every time, but I think it's fun to like just add a little competitive piece to it. Like, you know, that dev post platform, make projects on there. I'm like, I'm gonna go in and decide later, like go to a winner. So like your profile is gonna show that you're like a winner of it and stuff like that. So like, it's super cool. We've been doing every other month, so that yeah, and more of them like conversations, right? So our first one was like a little bit of a lecture. Our ones after that have been like tech related. So like Gene did something React Native. We had a friend of mine come in and talk about like Git, not like doing like Git commits and stuff like that, but like how Git works. Yeah, and all that stuff. So like we've had a varied amount of like things, but we're trying not to push too hard even on ourselves because we're all full time, you know. So we do it every other month. So like things like this, you know, I plan to like starting the events.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
you know, so hopefully do more stuff like this. I do like the events, so and I do like this kind of stuff. We're trying to come up with some ideas for December because you know holiday time. So it's like maybe we do like this, but virtual. I don't know, you know. So that's an idea. So, but especially in person, like I'm not gonna expect everybody to be here. Yeah, or even talking about it last like group meeting. You're like, are we gonna do anything? Well, someone else is doing something. Maybe see it. Bye, Gene. Good safe.
But yes. Thank you very much.
It was great meeting you, and I hope to see you in another one. Definitely keep up with our meetup or on the Discord because Jesse and I do a bunch of other events too.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. We'll see you at more than. It's getting dark, so I won't talk for so long. But thank you, man.
Circle back to like a feature I talk about. Like, pre-recorded with logos and
Okay, I asked Dr. New about space.
Yeah.
She said we'll talk, but I threw out some ideas as far as training for it. And one of those would be discounts for students. I haven't found out what she has to say about it. She may come back and say, no, I don't know. But also, we've got for her reboot scholars, they have a resume review or a mock interview thing coming up. And I told her, I met the guy that lived in Subway. So help us with that. And then turn his house was down the street on the space. Right. I mean, just one day, exactly. And if it's if it's not a huge crowd like Rowdy Hacks, it's something that we could clean up ourselves. We don't need people to come in and we could take all the trash bags with us, whatever. So we could clean it ourselves. Anyways, but I'll let you know what comes of that conversation. I'm glad you did. You wanted to meet up there? Okay, thank you for picking it.
I would let the pull in now. We're talking about
it's like right on
that's still,
I kind of listened to you a little bit too. I was like, let me check with Tasha, and then I was like, I got 50 lessons.
Thank you. And I need to get me did the 50 cover?
Yeah, all your lids in there.
Okay.
So an extra square.
I need to get me a Costco card
Put this in here, so just like, but you wrap it up.
and deal with consequences of my life. We talked about it before. We don't got a Costco.
Once you convert to Costco, you'll convert.
He's not converting.
No.
He's not converting to Costco.
You don't need a Costco membership.
Oh, did you
Just go through it.
Oh,
Yeah.
So if you ever just want a pizza, you can just go. It's not-
okay.
Or liquor.
So you want to see my
24 years sober.
I have a big
So I get the
jar.
All right. You can take it if that helps you carry
It's
stuff.
very full. I'll make
Yeah,
this
open it up,
sometime. Yes.
Yeah.
Unless there's a sticker, there's a sticker.
Come on, you go.
All right.
I like it, so I bought one.
What?
Oh,
I'm fine, thank you.
I think you already opened and played with it.
One of them?
Yeah, there's cheese. There's cheese or pepperoni.
I love money keyboard too. I do the whole tasting with the phone and everything.
I should have told us to.
I really and for it being like kind of sounds really nice.
Yes.
Okay, you got it.
Oh, brown switches. Those are brown.
Okay.
That is legit.
You saw
Yeah,
it?
there we go.
Huh?
I would say you should keep the prize at least for the next one.
Really?
Yeah.